do.
Okay. Could you please briefly outline your background in organized crime, specifically La Cosa Nostra?
Well, I got put into the program and into La Cosa Nostra in late 1947 or early 48. That's almost 40 years. I became a capo in 1952 and got transferred to the Chicago family in 1960 or 61. Then I got back to the Los Angeles family as acting boss in 1975.
And there you remained until in Los Angeles?
Till I got into the program, yes.
Right. Are you the author of The Last Mafioso?
Well, it was my book.
Mm-hmm.
Ovid Damaris wrote it. Although I have never read it.
Okay. Have you testified in any United States court as an expert witness on organized crime?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Reflecting on your past involvement in organized crime, are you familiar with organized crime's involvement in the pornographic industry?
Some, yes.
Could you describe the nature, the type of involvement that organized crime would have in the pornographic industry when you were active in organized crime?
Well, it's very, very big. Just millions of dollars.
Okay. How many crime families are there?
Oh, I don't know. I think there's 26, 27, somewhere in that area.
Okay. Are all of them involved in pornography, or do you know how many?
I would say the majority.
The majority.
Some way or another.
Okay. Have you ever heard of the name DB?
Yes, I have.
All right, finally. I think everybody at this table knows that keeping Neil on as my underboss. It gives us some continuity.
Huh. Grazie, Paul. You know, I don't think the Queens boys know DB. This is John Gotti, Robert DiBernardo, known as DB.
I love your handkerchief.
I was going to say the same thing.
That is Angelo Ruggiero.
You know my tailor?
You know,
Oh, yeah.
DB runs all the porno in Brooklyn.
And you don't have to say anything about John. His reputation precedes him.
All right. What's on the table?
Okay, this first slide is of Norman Arno. I will not go into the actual explanations. Retired FBI agent Bill Kelly described all these individuals in detail. The second individual is Noel Charles Bloom. This is Robert DiBernardo, also known as DB. This is Donald David Epstein. This is Jacob Gresser, known as Jack Gresser. This is Kenneth Francis Guarino. This is Martin Joel Hodis, also known as Marty. This is Harry Virgil Money. This is Theodore Rothstein, also known as Teddy Roth. And this final individual is Reuben Sturman. I believe we're going to take a break now unless any commissioners has a question.
And the Lesbian Rights Committee of the National Organization for Women. Representatives of this group are standing beside me right now. I'm also speaking for many well-known feminist writers, including Kathleen Barry, Robin Morgan, Diana Russell, Cher Haidt, Phyllis Chesler, and Gloria Steinem. Together we have drafted a list of 10 demands. We have made them demands, not requests, and we have been forced to resort to the drastic step of taking over this microphone and this forum because of the crisis in which women are placed as a result of pornography. These demands are made in the memory of the 21% of the over 6,000 respondents to a recent Women's Day poll who reported having been sexually abused by men directly influenced by pornography, of the 24% of the raped wives in a random sample survey who were forced by their husbands to act out pornography, and of the 81 missing or dead prostitutes in Green River, Washington, whose lives and deaths were scripted by pornography. Number one, we demand that the Commission acknowledge that the $8 billion a year pornography industry is built on the sexual enslavement and exploitation of women. Number two, we demand that the Commission acknowledge that pornography targets all women for rape, battery, sexual harassment, prostitution, incest, and murder. Number three, we demand that the Commission acknowledge that pornography is a practice of sex discrimination that denies women civil rights and civil liberties. Number four, we demand that the Commission acknowledge that pornography sexualizes and profits from racism, anti-Semitism, and hatred of lesbians and gay men. Number five, we demand that the commissioners rid themselves of their prejudice against the women who have testified before them about the abuse they have been subjected to because of pornography. We demand that they acknowledge that these women are speaking the truth. Number six, we demand that the Commission devote 2 full days of hearings to the testimony of all of the women who have wanted to speak out about the ways pornography has injured them, but who have been denied access to this forum. Number seven, we demand that the Commission reject moralistic, ineffective, sexist obscenity laws which create a climate of censorship. Number eight, we demand that the Commission endorse the civil rights anti-pornography laws proposed in Minneapolis, Indianapolis, Los Angeles, and Cambridge, Massachusetts. Number nine, we demand that the Commission recommend federal funding for housing, legal and medical services, education, and job training for women escaping from prostitution and pornography. Number 10, we demand that the Commission recommend that fines levied against pornographers and money and property confiscated from them in criminal proceedings be allocated to programs for their victims.
Not true. Listen to Betty Friedan. My name is Trudy Abel Peterson.
Have you reduced your findings to writing? Fine. Do you have copies for all the commissioners? Fine. They'll be passed.
My name is Trudy Abel Peterson, author of the book Children of the Evening.
Commission is now going to stand in recess till 1:30.
And pornography.
I am right and listen to and see. And the Commission is hell-bent on a course where they're going to make those decisions for the rest of us.
You heard a woman once known as Linda Lovelace speak today. She called herself a victim. She talked about guns and beatings. And you don't buy what she's saying, that she was a victim and this should be stopped?
No. Linda Lovelace may or may not.
That was her boyfriend that she chose. That was not somebody in the adult industry who did those things to her.
Talking at first. Can you say that again?
She chose that man to live with. That was her boyfriend. Those were her bad choices in life. Those were not people in the adult industry who made her do anything.
So are you in favor of pornography?
People. Yes, I'm in favor of free choice for adults to view sexually oriented material.
I am the editor of a magazine that this commission is investigating and probably trying to shut down. It's called Forum Magazine. I have been following this commission for 8 months now. I happen to know that it's not serious. It doesn't have a serious budget. It is a sop by Ronald Reagan to the religious right. After all, Ronald Reagan's son writes for the most popular so-called pornographic magazine in the country. People who have appeared naked in magazines like Penthouse and Playboy are regularly welcomed as guests to the White House. I speak of Sylvester Stallone and also of Joan Collins. So I think this...
We're going to ask you to go to the hall. You can continue in the hall. What are you upset about?
I'm upset about censorship in this country, and I'm upset about the government putting out a moral line. While the First Amendment is supposed to protect us, the Constitution is supposed to protect our right to practice religion, it also protects us from religion or from a government line being perpetrated on people. This is crazy. Pornography, as a matter of fact, in Denmark, since they legalized pornography across the board totally in 1970, child rape, child pornography, rapes, and crime against women has gone down 67%. The statistics are there. These people parade results that they want everybody to hear, and they're totally one-sided. Their conclusions are foregone. They know what they want to decide before they even have the hearings. It's a kangaroo court.
You're saying crime against women has gone down because of pornography?
In Denmark, yes.
Why?
As a matter of fact, the results are, and I have, in my briefcase, I have some of the articles to support that, but the research says that what it appears is that fantasy can substitute for the real thing, and that you're better off having people fantasize about things than going out and acting them out on the street. So people who can't, not everybody is beautiful and lovable and wonderful, and maybe they can't find a partner that they can have heterosexual sex with or any other kind. They can't find relationships that they need. So they have to fantasize. And if they can't fantasize, if they can't get material so that they can satisfy themselves and feel as if they're having some sort of normal sex life, which is a healthy, normal bodily function, regardless of what the moral majority thinks, then they're going to go out in the streets and act out their needs.
Okay, your name is?
Lindsay Flora, and I'm with the Adult Film Association of America.
Thank you. And whom are you with?
I'm Leanne Katz. I'm the executive director of the National Coalition Against Censorship. We're extremely concerned at what this commission is and is not doing. They are parading, they are recycling testimony from prosecutors, many retired prosecutors who specialize in pornography. They are telling old stories about old prosecutions, and they are neglecting to hear from people who want to express. Yes.
16-year-old girls are used in prostitution, arrested, and imprisoned with adult criminals. In New York, a woman cannot bring charges against a man for pimping without the corroboration of someone other than a prostitute. As the statistics have documented, these are women with few resources. Most are poor and have been subjected to sexual assault, battery, and rape. Most have pimps. Many are women of color. Many have dependent children. Many were battered wives who were forced into prostitution in order to support their children. Prostitution isn't like anything else. Rather, everything else is like prostitution because it is the model for women's condition. Prostitution is the foundation upon which pornography is built. Pornography cannot exist without prostitution. They are interdependent and create a sexual ghetto for women that ensures women's inequality. It is impossible to separate the two. The acts are identical, except that in pornography there is a permanent record of the woman's abuse. Likewise, pornographers and their defenders cannot be differentiated from procurers, in that procuring is defined as promoting the sexual performance of a woman, and a pimp is a pimp is a pimp, whether he operates off of 8th Avenue, out of penthouses, corporate suites, or the ACLU offices.
How do you define pornography? Pornography is the graphic, sexually explicit subordination of women in pictures or in words.
I'd like to speak, please. I'm from the Feminist Anti-Censorship Task Force. We think it's a very false claim that getting rid of our First Amendment rights will help women. We think the Reagan administration could do much better, make much more direct gestures towards women than repressive legislation about sexually explicit things.
Yeah, I mean, we're here to say that pornography silences women. If we want to do anything to ensure that women have civil liberties and civil rights, we have to do something about this $8 billion a year industry. And we're going to.
We wish to speak. We wish to speak, and we will speak, including in sexually explicit ways.
It's something that will be threatened by the law that we support, which is the Dworkin-McKinnon legislation. It defines pornography for what it actually is, unlike obscenity laws, which, as you heard speakers in there today, relate to pornography as something obscene, something morally offensive. The feminist approach to pornography sees pornography for the injury that it actually inflicts upon women. The Dworkin-McKinnon law captures the best definition there actually is that exists about pornography, because what it does is it connects it to the social injury that pornography is and does, and it is not contrary to the mandate of the First Amendment in this country. Women and people who say that A, do not understand this law, and B, who refuse to understand what pornography does to women and children in this country.
What your name is, please?
My name is Norma Ramos, and I'm an attorney.
Norma what?
Norma Ramos, and I'm an attorney who supports the Dworkin McKinnon law.
How do you spell your last name?
R-A-M-O-S.
And your name, please?
Ann Snitow, S-N-I-T-O-W.
Just go up and start. Listen, I'm from Lesbians and Gays Against Pornography, and I'm really concerned that we're being
I was invited to bring an actress here. That's the only one they wanted to hear from.
And what happened with that request?
The actresses all feel that they don't want to give permission.
Okay, let me.
His name is Leidholdt, L-E-I-D-H-O-L-D-T, and I'm here as a founding member of Women Against Pornography.
All right, I'm sorry. Your name again, please?
My name is Dorchin Leidholdt.
Dorchin, D-O-R-C-H-I-N, D as in dog.
Yes.
Last name?
Leidholdt, L-E-I-D-H-O-L-D-T.
Your group is?
Women Against Pornography, but we're here representing 25 feminist organizations from around the country.
Thank you. Okay, just tell me your name, please.
Philip Nobile.
Spell it?
N-O-B-I-L-E.
Philip with one L?
Yes.
And you're the editor of Forum Magazine?
Yes.
Thank you.
In the statistics
May I interrupt you just enough to...
Sure.
May I interrupt just to get her name?
I'm sorry.
Tell me your name.
Evelina Kane, Women Against...
Sorry?
Evelina Kane, I'm staff coordinator.
Spell that for me, please.
E-V-E-L-I-N-A, Kane, K-A-N-E. I'm with Women Against Pornography, and the statement that I made, I issued in solidarity with Whisper and Puma.
Thank you. Right.
Others of us who wanted to testify have not had a mic that was still on, and we are outraged at the unfairness of that.
Can you tell me your name and spell it for me?
Yes. Ann Snitow.
Okay.
S-N-I-T-O-W.
And what is your position?
I'm in a group called the Feminist Anti-Censorship Task Force. We're a grassroots organization that's been responding to the anti-pornography organizing.
I'm going to have to turn the light on a second.
Okay.
So they see you. Okay.
The Feminist Anti-Censorship Task Force is a grassroots organization that's grown up all over the country in response to the anti-pornography organizing. We think it's a very poor approach to women's
Okay, we've
rights.
got all that. I just need your name. Do you have a position in that?
What's wrong with this stuff? I refuse to take, or I declined to take this case to a federal grand jury. And he almost made a new wall in the federal building that day. Fortunately, the case did get prosecuted because a very nice gentleman from the Brooklyn U.S. Attorney's Office was transferred, and he took the ball and ran with it. In 4.5 days, the jury came back in 15 minutes, guilty on all counts, and Mr. Gilman is doing 15 years in the federal Stony Lonesome at Terminal Island, where he belongs. A senator?
Senator McConnell, I believe.
Senator who?
McConnell.
Well, you know, he's obviously not a pornography investigator. He may be right. I think I'm right. You know, if I went down to Broward County or Miami today, knowing all the stores and all the people involved, if I sent an undercover cop into any one of those stores, I can almost guarantee you I couldn't get it today. I'd have to order it shipped in through the port of New York or some other port from Denmark or the Netherlands. Now, I understand it was available at the International Consumers Electronics Show porno section in Las Vegas. I don't know that's true. The LAPD says it's true. You might ask them, they're going to be here. But I can't find it now. The only kind of porno I get is the pedophile stuff. The cottage variety homegrown stuff, not the slick magazine material that we used to get before the federal government finally, in 1968, passed the Child Exploitation Act, which really did the job, and then they updated it in '84 and made it even better. People are mad about kiddie porn, that's great, but not enough of us are upset about this menace. And the reason for that is they say consenting adults, First Amendment, and all that stuff. All those arguments have been legally knocked down years ago, but nobody seems to want to pay attention. Mr. Shower knows all about that. Excellent book. Thank you. I use it all the time.
Professor Shower, do you have a question, Mr. Kelly?
Yes, but I think on a somewhat different subject at the moment. Can we go back, Mr. Kelly, to an estimate of the size of the industry that would be involved in materials that would be legally obscene under current law?
Probably less than half. I'm guessing. An awful lot of porno is not against the law. Certainly an awful lot of it is. I saw some material today, this morning before I spoke, which obviously shocked the conscience of the person who showed it to me. But if I were a United States attorney in Miami, I would not take it to a grand jury for prosecution under the ITOM statute, because in my opinion, it is borderline softcore stuff. It's nasty stuff, but it's not the kind of, when we go into court, we go in with what we consider the roughest of the rough. And sometimes we miss on that, depending upon how good we are at selecting jurors, which is an art, as you well know.
And finally, if we can...
When did this get to be a problem? It got to be a problem the same year Hoover died. Now, nobody ever says that, but that's true. That's when Deep Throat hit the market. If he'd still been around, I can guarantee you there'd been FBI agents out making more cases, because he was real strong against obscenity. But that's the way it goes down. Those are the facts of life, my friend.
Thank you, and thank you for the compliment before.
You deserve it.